New Radio Sports Network and 1041 WRLU. It's our latest, it's a holiday edition of the show with Gamblers head coach Pat Mikesch as we come into the traditional Wednesday evening game. And then, of course, another pair of hockey games for you, all featured at newradiosportsnetwork.com and also 1041 WRLU. Before we get to that, Coach, you had a bit of a homecoming that didn't go your way against Youngstown on Saturday night. And what were maybe some of the things that stuck out to you in that one?
Well, it was all facets of the game we weren't sharp in. And our transition game led to them having easy access back at us with some of our turnovers. And then our defensive zone coverage was as weak as we've been all year. So it wasn't a good night. Our structure wasn't clean at all. And I thought we were a little bit passive even when we had an opportunity to get ourselves back into that game. We didn't assert ourselves enough and kind of looked for other people to answer the issues. And that's just not the way we can approach it.
Now, obviously last week we kind of discussed how, you were out of the building for about 2 weeks. You're on that road trip to begin the month. And then, you finally were able to get in that Thursday or Friday, to start, playing the rest center for the first time those couple of weeks. Can you attribute it to that a little bit, or is it just one of those things where the guys just kind of came out flat and that's hockey?
Yeah, I don't think it had anything to do with being out of the building, anything like that. I mean, we were back in the Resh on Friday, had a skate there. The ice was fine. It was nothing that was out of our control. We needed to be better. A Youngstown team that had to play the night before coming into our building with us being fresh, we needed to be a lot sharper.
Now, does that turn into a burn the tape type of deal, or do you kind of pull the guys in and be like, okay, here's why we were yelling at you so much during the game on Saturday?
Well, we did a good video session yesterday and just kind of walk through, things that, haven't been issues for us, throughout the year, and things that we had kind of built on as we were going. And we just got away from a lot of those principles on Saturday. And so it was a teaching opportunity, and I'm very excited to see how we respond here tomorrow night.
Does it help to know that, for the most part here, you get back to work relatively quick? You don't have to wait the full week. You go from Saturday to Wednesday in between games. Does that kind of help keep guys engaged, especially since they'll have, we always talk about the guys just want to play. They'll have 3 games here coming up in a relatively short order.
Well, I think that was the important part, was having the teaching opportunity yesterday. And then we have to flip the page here quickly today and focus on Dubuque, and who we know is a great opponent as well, and make sure that we're ready to play against their top group. Watching video here this morning, with Halliday, Kurth, and Beck, they're such a different type of matchup with that line being so dominant for them. And we're going to have to be prepared to play against them.
Now, you saw them really early. You saw them during your exhibition season. You kind of had the home and home going along with them. How has Dubuque changed on tape based on when you saw them during that exhibition game, or exhibition games, I should say, compared to, how they've been able to play the first month and a half or so?
Yeah, we've seen them 3 times in the regular season as well. So, we've got a good feel for what their group looks like. I like their depth. They're a heavier team than a lot of teams we face. And so they're doing a lot of the same things they were doing when we saw them early in the season. I think we saw them 3 of our first 5 games of the season, or 3 of the first 6. And so now we've seen some other opponents, and you're starting to see what the division looks like. And Dubuque they play a puck possession game. They're heavy when they stand over the top of it. They take pucks to the net. And so it's all the areas that we need to be better in, that we struggled in last week, and are going to be points of emphasis.
And, as you mentioned, you played a bunch of other opponents in between those games against Dubuque earlier in the season. Is there a portion of your game that maybe it's been fleshed out a little bit more in between those matchups with Dubuque and this one coming up on Wednesday?
Well, I think early in the year we talked a lot about, we were struggling to have our ozone possession time, and we look at trying to average 5.5 minutes in the ozone a game, and we were down into the high 3s, low 4s early, and then but that's been an area that we've really improved on. We've been getting our possession time over 5 minutes just about every night now. We were over 7 here on Saturday night, so that's an area that I like that we've improved on, and an area that I think we can take to a Dubuque team that, wants to have the puck so much. And so if we can make them defend and possess that puck, I like how it breaks down for us.
And with the Wednesday game, what does this week kind of look like for you? Do the guys get the big Thanksgiving meal with their host families, or how do you work that? Because obviously they have to bounce right back Friday and Saturday as well.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of families that are going to be in town. So some families eating with their billets, and others probably will just go and join their traditional family and have a nice dinner at one of our great restaurants here in Green Bay. But it'll be good. We'll have a light skate on Thursday morning. So just to kind of flush out everything from the night before on, playing a game at night and then having that games Friday and Saturday. It's important for their bodies to have a little bit of movement on Thursday, and then they can go eat all the food they want. And we'll come back in Friday morning, have a little morning skate, and get ready for those 2 games against the USA team.
And Team USA, and I know we mentioned it quickly last week. Are you seeing the U17 or the U18 squad?
This will be the 17s coming this time, and they're just coming back from international play. So they have their 3 trips a year, and so they just finished their first trip overseas, and so they haven't really played in the league now for over 2 weeks. But they have a game in Muskegon tomorrow night, so we'll be able to see a little bit of their video on Thursday of how they looked in that matchup with Muskegon on Wednesday night.
And when you see those teams come back from international play, are there things that maybe you can take advantage of because, they're used to a different style of hockey, let's say, or, they may still be trying to get their skates underneath them from returning from international play. Are there little things that stick out to you when they've come back from international play in the past that, maybe gives you an opportunity to jump on them early?
Yeah, I don't see any big changes that way. And I mean, they've played the majority of their games on the North American size rink. And so they probably had their biggest changes having to go and play overseas and play on the bigger ice sheet for their 5 games over there. But I think we'll see a lot of their tendencies that we saw with watching them early in the year on film. And then, like I said, it'll be a good little refresher to watch them after their Wednesday night game.
And obviously they have wholesale changes every year, it seems like. How does this U17 compare to the team that is now technically the senior squad, the U18s?
Yeah, I like this group as far as their skill level, their skating. They really like to attack on the line rush. So we'll have the size advantage. We'll be a little bit heavier, and we get back to what our principles are about, and trying to make them defend in longer periods, because if you give them their opportunities, they've got a couple special players that are going to make you pay a price.
And do you ever, and I know this is more Youngstown's game, do you ever get tempted to get a little bit more physical when the team is this much smaller?
I don't think you want to change what we do, but a big part of being physical is just making teams, come after you and possessing pucks and being strong when you have it. And it's when we become easy to play against is when we have those soft little turnovers and give a team easy transition like we did on Saturday night. So it's hard to run around in any game now. I mean, you want to be physical and finish your checks when you're on your forecheck and closing on things in the D zone. But, ultimately, I think being heavy, being hard to play against is making teams actually have to work against you.
And then going back to that game last Saturday, obviously, Elias was the one that was in net for that one. What are you doing to kind of keep his confidence up?
Well, he's a young goalie, and that's probably the hardest part is we've had a couple of really bad efforts in front of him. You look at when he had his win against Dubuque, we played very well for him. And then his next game in Dubuque, we had a slow start, and he actually kept us in it and gave us an opportunity in that game. And so it's important that we help him get comfortable in a game. We can't be allowing those second and third opportunities. We can't be allowing wide open sticks in front of the net. And so we need to defend in front of him, because it wouldn't have mattered who was in net on Saturday with those opportunities we were giving up.
Very good. Well, once again, after what seemed to be forever since we had a game on the radio, we obviously had a game on Saturday and now 3 Wednesday. Friday and Saturday, all those games will start at 7:05 p.m. Wednesday will be against Dubuque and then a pair against Team USA. You'll be able to hear Tobin Meyer on the call for all three of those games, starting a little bit earlier than that 7:05 puck drop. But all those games can be heard on newradiosportsnetwork.com and 104.1 WRLU. Coach, happy Thanksgiving and good luck this week as you play those two teams.
All right, Tim. Thanks. Have a great Thanksgiving.
For the New Radio Sports Network, I'm Tim Coles.